A lot of people out in the Oregon community, considering everything that's happened, whether it's been losing recruits, whether it's been flips, a lot of people out there are maybe concerned about where the Ducks stand with recruiting. I am aware of the trend that is happening with recruiting right now, and obviously, when you're a top-level program and you have the things that have happened at Oregon over the spring, it's not a good look. But folks, recruiting cycles have chapters in them. This is not a short story, right? These are not individual stories. This is a novel. There are many chapters throughout all of this. I am not concerned. Some other people out there might be concerned, but I am not concerned about Oregon Ducks recruiting. I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to set a deadline. Say, if by this date Oregon ain't making moves, okay, maybe your eyebrows and maybe your ears should certainly perk up a little bit as well. Here's maybe why I'm not concerned right now. Folks, I know you look at Cody Green, you look at Jackson Cantwell, you look at Jared Curtis, you look at Caden Dixon-Wyatt, you look at Jonas Williams, you look at Tamahini Tapu, you look at Bot Mulatalo, you look at all of these guys, folks, and I get it. I get it 1,000% why you're concerned. But folks, there's still plenty of food left on the table. I get that's a lot of food out there. But there is still plenty of food left on the table. Deep breath, Ted. Here are some names. Tyler Atkinson, Emmanuel Ahinato, Ryder Lyons, Brandon Arrington, Calvin Russell, Messiah Hampton, Davon Benjamin, Kelvin Obot, Richard Wesley, Jed Washington, Joey O'Brien, Jalen Lott, Deuce Geralds, and maybe, just maybe, a signing day flip of Zion Ely. Folks, there, look at that food. You got stuffing. You got casserole. You got turkey legs. You got a lot there. You look at that class. I listed off a lot of those names. There aren't a lot of names in that group where Oregon isn't a contender. Oregon is bringing as much talent onto campus for official visits as they have maybe in recent years. There is still enough talent out there. There is still enough food on the table for this Oregon football team to eat. And by eating, I mean their third consecutive top 5 class as well. Now, a lot of people concerned about money. Oh my gosh, did Oregon run out of money? Well, no, they didn't run out of money. And Dan Lanning and Marshall did not forget how to recruit either. That's the thing. What, you think these guys just woke up one day and I don't remember how to recruit anymore? No, these guys know what they're doing. They've done this. They know how to adapt. But here's something that's, I think, worth keeping in mind. We are now in a post-House versus NCAA settlement world, and Kirby Smart said publicly in an interview, you got teams that are paying $20,000, $25,000 a month just to commit. Pay to commit is something that's really been a hot topic this cycle. That stuff isn't going to fly in an NIL clearinghouse type of world. I think Oregon has been operating at a fair market value. They are not willing to overspend these crazy amounts of money that we've heard, not necessarily confirmed, but heard of schools like a Miami or a USC and schools, just an absurd amount of money that's being thrown out there. But they were throwing that amount of money out there because I think that they were trying to beat the deadline. Whereas Oregon's just sitting and waiting, knowing that the House settlement is happening. And when that happens, that's when they can pounce. Everybody's talking about, the playing field is more level and Oregon's not going to be able to spend as much money. I talked about that earlier, why that's maybe not the case to begin with. But now when you have some of these crazy deals that are way above the market value of a guy that's never played college football before, now that you have that, now you bring it down. And I think that's where Oregon can certainly now be a lot more competitive financially and really play a lot more in this fair market value type of world than maybe some things that were happening out there before. I think that there were teams knew that the House versus NCAA settlement was coming. Say, hey, we got to beat it to the punch. We got to find a way to kind of sneak some things in, certainly before that. And we got some big commitments coming, some big commitment dates in line with the fireworks, in line with the hot dogs, in line with the baked beans, in line with the wavy chips. And that being the 4th of July. Jalen Lott, Wide receivers on 4th of July, Brandon Arrington, Jair Edwards, Calvin Russell coming up on July 5th. So when is my recruiting concern deadline? Right after that. July 6th. July 6th. If players have committed that are Oregon targets that have maybe been on campus for official visits, if they have committed to other schools by July 6th, and Oregon is losing out on a lot of guys that have been on campus for official visits, then that's when I'll start to be concerned. Because it would be breaking the norm. I put out a tweet a month or so ago, is that like 80 to 85%, maybe it was upwards of 90% of the commits from last year's class happened after May, after the month of June, right? So if a lot of these players that Oregon brings on campus do not end up becoming Ducks, it would be breaking the norm. That's what I've always focused on, is the historical aspect of this, right? Oregon doesn't get it done in the spring. They get it done in the summer. They get it done going into the fall, and they close on signing day. That has been the norm with Dan Lanning. If the norm breaks, then I think that can be cause for concern. So talk to me on July 6th, right? The fireworks smoke will be dissipated by then. I think we'll maybe have digested all of our hot dogs and our baked beans and all of our 4th of July patriotic pride certainly by then. If you're talking to me and a lot of those guys that I mentioned at the beginning of this segment are committed elsewhere, then maybe we can talk about it. But until then, hey, let's chill out. Let's enjoy the ride. Dan and Marshall certainly still know what they're doing.